Let you kick us off, Christian.
Yes, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining today. I'm Christian Avalos. I am your partner success manager here at Discovery Education. I am your go-to for everything and everything Discovery Ed. And if I'm going to go ahead and drop my email into the chat. If you ever have any questions, if you ever have any ideas about some of the content that you see, feel free to shoot me an email. I'm generally available. I actually live in Anne Arundel County, so I am local. I work closely with Stephanie Kelly and Carrie Lambert on all of your Discovery Ed resources. And with us today is Brad Fountain. He's the Senior Director of Teaching and Learning here at Discovery Education. He is going to walk us through some of our supporting for early literacy instruction with Discovery Education. But before we begin, I did want to just highlight something that you all have access to as Anne Arundel County educators, and that's our DEN network, so our Discovery Educator Network. And we do have a DEN Star program that essentially highlights the good work that teachers, instructors, coaches are doing throughout the district. So all AACPS has access to this global community. It's really just a community of like-minded educators with a mission to help improve education. The DEN, as it's called, the community goes well beyond just simply sharing Discovery Education resources. It really more so focuses on enhancing overall practices. And you're able to connect with other teachers worldwide and leverage their best practices, their ideas, and just get advice from other teachers around the world. So we definitely want you to leverage all of what Discovery Education brings to you. So you can scan that QR code and it takes you right to the DEN Star program sign-up sheet, and you're able to join. We have two events a year. We have a DEN VertCon that we have in the fall and in the spring. There will be one coming up this spring as well. Similar to what we're doing here, just kind of highlighting, like I said, that good work that you're doing. And teachers are able to present on how they're keeping their students engaged in the classroom. So really great event that we're able to put on for all of our educators. But I just wanted to highlight that so you have that available. But I'm going to go ahead and let Brad take over. He is going to take us through the journey today.
Thank you, Christian. So yeah, we're excited to be with you guys, and thank you guys for taking time out of your busy schedule and day to spend a little bit of time with us. We greatly appreciate it. A couple things that, let's see, wanted to give you just a little, or get a little sense from you guys of, is what your comfort level, your knowledge level is with Discovery Education. So in the chat window, if you don't mind, we're going to rank it from a 1 to a 5, 1 being I've heard of it, or maybe even not even heard of it, a 5 being, you know what, I could probably train Brad on how to use it. So give us an idea where your comfort level is with Discovery Education. So I see some 3s, some 2s, some 3s. Cool. Like 2s and 3s are our standard, which is great. It's okay to be a 1 or a 4. Or if you have a 5, I'm all for it. I love that challenge too. So, all right. So thank you guys for applying to that. We're going to make this interactive. We kind of spend some time together. So I'm going to have a couple of breaks where we're going to do something together. So bear with me when we do that, if you don't mind. I'm going to share my screen briefly with you guys. Right now, I am, let's see here, make sure it's going to work the way I need it to. There we go. And if Christian, if you'll confirm for me, you're seeing the landing page for Discovery Education.
Yep, we've got it clear.
Great. So I'm logged as an educator in Anne Arundel County. So everything that I'm going to show you are things that you have access to. Nothing is more, mind-numbing to me as a former educator myself, former principal, as someone showing me content and then telling me after I see these great things that, oh, wait a minute, that's not the version you have. So I want to make sure you're aware. Everything I'm going to show you today is resources that you have at your fingertips. You're in an area of passion for me. My wife is a classroom teacher. She's a 3rd grade teacher, but her master's is in reading. And so literacy is a big focus. And there's always a big focus for myself and my wife with our children who are much older now. My daughter is a freshman in college. My son is a freshman in high school. So a little beyond that early literacy stage, but we know how important that literacy is early on for these students. So, what you're doing day in and day out is greatly appreciated. I know you don't hear it enough from parents and other members of the community as much as you probably should. Not saying you don't ever get appreciated, but know that you are appreciated day in and day out. So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight some things just to help you both do your job with when you're working with students, but also when you're working with teachers. So I think that's important as well. And I'm actually going to start with the teacher area for a moment. When you go into Discovery Education, one of the areas that a lot of people may not be aware of or spend time with, and I do want to add one piece before I get too far into this, is here's my challenge for you guys. If throughout my time with you for the next 45, 50 minutes, if I don't show you anything new, call me on it. If you didn't learn a single thing new, tell me that, and I will show you something. I promise. I can find something you did not know you could do. So that's my challenge to myself. I always put it out there that I want to make sure someone at least sees something new every single time I'm out there. But we're going to start with our educator support section right here. Upper right-hand side of the screen. This is something, again, everyone has access to. And we're going to go into the professional learning section right here. There are a lot of resources here getting started. I know a lot of districts around the country are dealing with a lot of teacher turnover and new teachers coming in. And, you know, they may not have ever gotten training on Discovery Education, or they're just trying to keep their head above water as a new teacher. I remember distinctly my first year teaching and how much of a struggle that can be. But that getting started area is a great place to go. But we're going to spend our time right now on professional learning. And the reason I'm going to do that is I'm going to go to what's called Professional Learning Now. And there's a specific reason I want to do that for you guys. In here, you'll see all courses, teaching and learning, English language learners, which is I'm sure is a group you support as well, health and wellness, and then primary learning. And I'm going to go into primary learning for just a moment. And you're going to see resources and strategies for teachers to support things like phonemic awareness, as well as sound sequence, and all these little activities. These are short modules that teachers can go through on how to support things like phonics, fluency, vocabulary development, reading comprehension, that for newer teachers or teachers who are trying to find ways that maybe you want to share with other teachers on how to support early literacy. These, again, are what we call micro learnings. They're designed for teachers to learn about successful teaching strategies developed by our professional development team. They are included. They're free. You don't have to pay anything extra for this. But it just really is getting started. And then there's getting into activities and strategies they can use in their classroom, all laid out, and modules that they can go through as they're working through and learning strategies to incorporate things like decoding, sound by sound blending, all of those components, which are, again, are important strategies. Not that you can't use them yourself, but I also want to make sure you're aware that these are things you can point teachers to as they're getting used to meeting the needs of all the kids who come into their classroom day in and day out. Again, that's under professional learning. And then when you go into professional learning, all I did was go to actually educator supports, then professional learning, and then professional learning now. And then primary learning is the actual section that has specific strategies really geared toward our K2 folks. I know you listed K5. So if you go back into teaching and learning instead of primary learning, you will see a variety of resources dealing with building relationships, moving forward, creating clear and concise learning goals. Those things are in there for all levels of learning. But that primary learning is an area you may want to check out as you're diving in. And one thing, just so you're aware, Christian, if you see any questions or comments, let me know, because I cannot see the chat window in Google. So
I'm monitoring the chat here. So if you have any questions, just drop them in, and I'll go ahead and interrupt Brad, and we'll be able to get your answer.
And don't hesitate to put them in there, folks. I'm here for you. This is your time. I know our service very well, so I can obviously walk my way through it pretty quickly. But there are times when you're looking for something particular and you want to help with that. So the other thing I'm going to go into, I'm going to go to some other resources for you. One of the ones we have, and this is the brand new partnership we had started this fall, actually dealing with that early literacy. If you're familiar with Sesame Learning or Sesame Street, there's a whole channel of Sesame Learning content now in our service. And this is just the beginning of this. This is going to continue to grow. So when you go into Sesame Learning, and I'm going to talk in a minute about how you can add this to your homepage for easy finding later on. There's a welcome section, coming together, feelings time, but then we get into letter time, number world, and celebrations. Since we're in early literacy, I'm going to go into letter time. And you'll have resources here laid out. So we're getting with letters A to D, E to H, I to L. And then if you'll notice the length of these videos, they typically are less than 2 minutes. There are a couple that are right at that 2-minute mark. But when you get into these, let's play one of these. This is about 1 minute and 29 seconds. This is true Sesame Learning, Sesame Street content.
We're not getting any sound there, Brad. I don't know if
You're not getting sound?
No.
Interesting. I wonder why. Let me see here. Let me try it again and see if it comes up. Are you getting any sound now? Did you get any sound then, Christian?
We did initially, but then it just dropped out. You have to share the tab on Google Meet. It was a comment that Daniel just put in the chat.
Okay, so let's try that. Let me stop my share then. Let's go to try share tab. Let me see if that works. And let's see. Let's see how that works. Try it again.
E. E is for
that?
egg. You got it. Your turn, little cousin.
F is for... I can't think of a good word that starts with the letter F.
We have an idea.
F is for...
So was that coming through, Christian, that time?
Yep, that one's good.
Beautiful. Thank you. Good. Thanks for the recommendation, folks. I don't use Google Meet a whole bunch. So you'll see those videos from Sesame Learning. And then in addition to the video, there is a mini lesson to accompany that. So when you open up the mini lesson for letter F, which is right next to it, these are written in conjunction with our team and the Sesame Workshop team, who knows early literacy and early language development very, very well. And these lessons are designed not to be just a sit and get activity. You'll notice here, so let's watch the F is for Fox. We're going to talk about the guiding the sounds, playful learning options, and then learn through play. And so now we're going to start with picture cards and support children as they present their picture card to the class using their starter, F is for, or F is not for. And so they're going to work on creating their own little card of drawing a picture of something that they can tie in with the F sound. So these are, again, fun, easy things you can use in your classroom. Quick, easy activities that you can share with teachers. So those are all built out. And again, that is all the way through, full alphabet. And then there's additional related resources as well when you're getting additional areas of need. Now, this right here, I just want to show you this in case you're not familiar. This is what's called a channel. Now, channels can reside on your home page. Right down here are channels. And you can order the channels any way you want. So I'm actually going to edit my home layout and put my channels at the top, just so it's easy to find. So channels are curated content collections. So if I wanted to have that channel really easy for me to find, I'll just type in Sesame Workshop every single time I go to Discovery. All you do, if you come find that channel, you can do it one of two ways. You can come right here to the 3 dots and just add to my channels. Or if you're in the channel, you want to look at that first, you want to make sure it fits your needs, you can come right over here to where this little ribbon icon is. It says I add to my channels. And now that's going to be on your home page. And what that does is on your home page for Discovery, you'll see all your channels here. And then you can drag and drop the ones. Oops, it's not drag and drop anymore until I hit reorder. That's right. We changed this process for us. Wrong button. Click reorder. And now I can drag and drop these in any order I want. And so these are things that were shown so far: Sesame Learning, Professional Learning Now. And I can save the order of those so that it's easy for me to find those resources. Quick, simple activities. Now, as you're probably aware, we also have and are known for great video content. Well, let me show you an example of how you can use video to introduce and work with some literacy strategies with your students. There's a series we have called Vooks, so video books. they're right here. It's a channel. I'm going to add that channel to my home page like I showed you earlier. And then Vooks are designed, again, primarily for K2. They have instructional activities and activity sheets that accompany many of the books, or Vooks. If you scroll down through, you'll see different topics that are being addressed. And we'll go down. Let's do this one on leaves here. And I want you to see what actually is being done from a literacy instruction standpoint with the content. So we're going to start playing this video.
Leaves. An autumn pop-up book. A leaf seems simple, but leaves do many things. A leaf contains green chlorophyll that helps it use sunlight, water, and air to make food for the plant.
So notice that as it's reading, it's tracking for students, so helping them see the words, hear the words, visual representation of certain content. Yes, it's introducing some larger vocabulary like chlorophyll, but that's okay. That's great for students to see those terms, even if they're not fully ready to go into that depth. But having that information right there at our fingertips is a powerful way to help students see it, teachers to use and model reading strategies as they go through, do some summative evaluation with that as far as have students are processing information. Because the other thing you can do with this, and this goes for any video now, and actually I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to ask a question of you guys. If you're showing a video to students, and whether it's dealing with literacy, dealing with any topic, or you see a teacher in your building showing a video to students, how are they assessing whether or not the students are actually retaining the information? So let me get you to respond in there. And Christian, I'll let you fill me in of what you're seeing. So how do teachers know if kids are retaining the information they want from a video resource?
We've got asking questions,
Mm-hmm.
Orally, maybe paper activities,
Okay.
Follow-up activities, stop and talk. A lot of great answers here.
Good.
Applying it in a project or an activity.
Mm-hmm.
To draw a picture of what they learned, similar like in that Vooks activity.
Sure. So these are all great. Now, this is probably a little high for my K and 1 kids, but when we get in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, this is something you can use. Now, probably not the video that I would normally use for this, but I'll give you an idea of how it works. If you come on any video in Discovery, right, and this came in about 1.5 years ago, but any video, when you're in the video player, you go right here to where it says build an activity, upper right-hand side. You have the ability to build what's called a video quiz. And this will allow you as a teacher to take any video. When you click on it and you click on video quiz and click next, it takes it into our quiz tool. So now as the video is playing, I'm going to turn the audio off in the background just for a moment so I can talk over this without having too much interference. As the book is being read aloud or the video is playing or whatever it happens to be that we're doing, and I get to a certain point that I want to ask a question, I can come right here to where it says add new question. So we're going to get this started.
Brad, we have a great question. Whether if this can only be done in Vooks or any video in any section. This is available with every video resource within Discovery Education. You can make anything into a video quiz.
Yes.
Question.
Yeah, thank you for asking that question. And yes, any video in Discovery can have questions added to it. So I'm going to put in here, where might you find leaves, right? Basic question. I can do a short answer, a poll, a multiple choice. And I'm going to say forest, a yard. Actually, you know what? We'll do a poll. We'll change this question. And we'll change my yard to your yard. There we go. So I can do a poll. Now I can adjust where this question appears. Maybe I want to put it back where the title screen was. I can just back up a little bit, second by second. When I do this and I click save and play at the 16-second mark, because that's where I've chosen right here on the time, it's going to put a little dot, and then it's going to keep playing the video. Let's back up a little further. Get the full title in there. There we go. 14-second mark. So you'll notice here's a little dot. The video keeps playing now. Now, obviously, like I said, I turned off sound just so it doesn't have the background noise running. You can play this with the video going as you're doing it. And then when I'm ready for my next question, we'll get to that term that I saw a few minutes ago. I'm going to add a question as soon as this little sentence finishes here. So I can add a question here, a short answer, again, poll, multiple choice. And I can keep doing that for as many questions as I want, up to 1 question per second. Please don't do that. Don't put 1 question every second, but you can do that. And this allows you to have some means of students, responding to it. Now, once I'm done creating my video quiz, whatever I need to do, I have a couple of things I can do. I can share this with other teachers. So if I'm building this one, and let's say Christian and I are both teachers and we're teaching this unit around leaves, and I'm going to build this video quiz. He's going to build a different one for a different video we're going to use. So we can share these back and forth. When I share this back and forth, maybe Christian looks at my question and says, I don't like your third question, Brad. I'm going to do a different question. He can change his version of my quiz, just any questions he wants to. So again, you can share those in your school, in your district, as much as you would like. When you go to launch, which is right here, you have 2 ways for this to launch. You can assign, which means students would complete this on their own. When you assign, they would see the video when they get a link that they can click on to take them to the video quiz, and the video will play on their device. The quiz will play on the right-hand side of the video. So that's one option that can be done. That can be done as individual students, pairs, small group, really up to you, up to the teacher, any way they want to. The launch now is going to be teacher-led. So in the launch now mode, what happens is the video plays in the front of the class on your device. And whenever it gets to one of those dots on the video pauses, and on the student screen, the questions come up. And then the students answer the questions, and then all that data comes back. Either way, it's going to come back to you from Assign or Launch Now, but all that data will come back to you as a teacher.
We have a couple of good questions here, Brad.
Good.
I think it's a good point to pause.
Yes.
Samantha Wilkinson, thanks for highlighting the quiz library. So there are a number of quizzes already pre-made for you. So if you wanted to look to see if any portion or any subject already has a quiz built, you can just click on the quiz tab that's right on the top of the home screen, and you're able to search all of the interactive quizzes that are available. Another question was whether or not you can use pictures for any of the answers. Brad, if you want to elaborate, but there aren't images that you can choose from. It is all a set type of question that you are creating or assigning within the video. But if you wanted to highlight it at any point of a specific video, you're able to, of course, let them rewatch any portion in between each question, so that if they need to be able to look at, they can.
Yeah. So, and to the question about putting images in, there are a number of quiz. I'm just showing the video quiz feature. If you go into quiz itself, there are what we call video quizzes right here. That's like the one I just showed you, where it's going to be tied to a video, and the questions are going to pop up on the video around that format. There's what's called standard quizzes. Now, standard quizzes allow you to create quizzes, and I'm just going to go show you build a new quiz for a second. Video quiz is an option, and then standard quiz is the other option. In standard quiz, we'll give this one So I can delete that one later on. I can do a short answer where in this case, it could be just a regular question. I could put an image on there. I can do things like that. I can do a poll. I can put video, or I can put other resources on a poll question, multiple choice questions. And again, I can put a lot of different resources on those, multiple select, draw. And this has an actual place where students can draw. Now they're going to be using a touchpad or a computer mouse. So be mindful of that as they go through it. There's also annotate. So in this case, what I can do is I can upload an image, and let's just see here. I'm going to go grab I don't know if I need that one. Let's see here. I'm going to try to grab one that's in here. Here, I'll go grab something from down here. I don't know what picture that is. I know it's safe, but other than that, I don't know what picture it is. If it's my child, I apologize. I'm just grabbing a random photo here. You can pull pictures from Discovery, but I'm just uploading one real quick. All right, there we go. Let's see what I grabbed the picture of. All right. I thought I had it uploaded. There it goes. I don't even know what that is now. Oh, it's a large needle-nosed fish right there in the center. Okay. So I can put that in there, and what I can do is now students can actually annotate. They can draw over that and label things in there. I'll show you in a little bit an example of that, but you can put that in there. So I can ask, so maybe label the parts of the needle-nosed fish, and I can do that. So I can have students actually annotate and draw on top of that. Again, I'll show you an example of that. One of the other ones that's really powerful, oops, go back to my standard quiz. You can also, I'm going to add another question here. And do I want to do another one? Yeah, add new question right here. In this case, what I'm going to do is an audio quiz. And in this, what I want you to do now is read the passage in your book and record your reading. So now what this allows students to do is you can upload an image or a picture of text you want them to read, or you can have them actually take out a book that they're reading, and then they actually record, and it'll record their reading. This is a really powerful tool for teachers to be able to hear how students are reading, areas of fluency they may be struggling with, but it also keeps a record of students. And one of the things that I've talked to teachers about doing in the past is, since we've launched this, think about the beginning of your year, having your students, especially my early emerging readers, read. Then do another recording of them, maybe at the end of the first quarter, at the end of the second quarter, the third quarter, and the fourth quarter, so that you have a record of their progress. The student can hear their progress. And when you're having those parent conferences, you have a recording of their progress as well. So this is a great way to do things, is to use the audio questions for kids to read, to be able to showcase their fluency progressions throughout the year as they work on their reading strategies and reading skills. So that's another way to use quiz, just as an idea. Let me pause for a second. Any other questions about quiz?
Yeah, thanks for highlighting that, Brad. That was going to be the next question as we were kind of working our way down, if students have the option to record their voice for the answer. So thanks for highlighting that.
Sure.
And as far as sharing, another question was if they can be assigned through Brightspace, or if they would log into Discovery Education from ClassLink. For the quiz functions, they can be shared through ClassLink, but it is something that lives within Discovery Ed.
Mm-hmm. So you can put that link right there, and actually that's not the link I need. I need to launch it and assign, and then you can go in and you can get a link through there that you can put into ClassLink. And that one doesn't have a classroom, so I can't go through that route. This teacher didn't have a classroom set up. I went into the nurse's account, so I wouldn't mess with anybody else's, but she doesn't have any classes, obviously. But there are ways to do it. What we can do is we can send a video or recording of how to do that best. That's something usually Christian can handle pretty quickly for you guys, and we can kind of model that for you so you have that strategy in place.
Yeah, once the quiz is live and launched, you are able to just share that link, and it's able to be shared through any LMS. So you definitely can. And it doesn't change any functionality because it's actually within Discovery that you're looking at it at the actual quiz itself.
Yep. All right. How are we doing so far? We're going to do one. I'm going to show you one other piece, and then I'm going to pause for a second and give you little tasks to do. So one of the other ones I want to show you.
Can I interrupt for just 1 second?
Please do.
Okay, we just had a couple questions about, is there a way for, is there any feature that will read the questions to the students? And I believe is it immersive reader that you guys?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to go there right now. You have a tool. Let's go in here. That is not part of the quiz feature. We're looking at adding that functionality down the road, but it's not there yet. But if you go, we have something called instructional activities. These are pre-made lessons. And the reason I'm showing this way is because these are lessons for, I'm going to go 3-5 for just a moment as an activity. These are pre-made lessons that you can use for science, social studies, math, health, English language arts. And I'm going to highlight this one here, the daily sentence fix-it. I love these. Teachers really respond well to these. But I'm going to show you what you're talking about with your immersive reader. Anything that's built in Studio, and Studio is a tool you have access to. Whether we put text in there or whether you put text in there, copy and paste text from someplace else, does not matter. But I'm going to put here, I'm going to go to March 1st, and that's today's date. This is a fun little activity for classes. We all know the situation with a lot of elementary school classes. Kids come in, you got the bus riders who come in the classroom at a certain time or the building, then your car riders, your kids who may walk or bike to school. Those all situations are that we deal with kids coming at different times. What's something I can do to have my kids engaged in something that's relevant, but at the same time they can do at their own pace without waiting for everybody else to get to class? This is an easy activity. So in this case, this is something I could put on the front of my screen, but I'll talk about the immersive reader in a second here. And with this, it's showing us something that happened this day in history. So in 1872, Yellowstone became the world's first national park. And then there's sentences that need to be fixing down below. Capitalization, punctuation, spelling mistakes are all going to be there. So this is something where kids can look at it, look at what's there, see where the mistakes may be, spelling again, capitalization, punctuation, things like that. And when everyone's had a chance to do the activity, maybe Christian and I are both in the same class, we share our papers back and forth so that we can grade each other's, not really working on other than, did you make a real effort at it? And then the teacher can click here where it says answer key, and it's going to highlight in bold letters any corrections that should have been made. It's a quick, easy strategy. But the reason I show this and reason I want to talk about this with the immersive reader is any text that's in a Studio board. So whether it's this activity, I'm going to back out of this one for a second. I'm going to go to a different one for just a moment. Let's go to a different strategy. And let's go into one on, we'll go Emily Dickinson or Amanda Gorman. We'll do that one. So any text that's on the screen on any of these pages, if you click right here where it says immersive reader, that's available again, whether we put the text in there, whether you put the text, it does not matter. But if you click on immersive reader, it pulls all of the text out. And now students can have this read aloud, including the question that was answered at the bottom.
Youngest ever inauguration poet. Read the headline and think about what it means.
Now you can adjust how fast or slow it reads, whether it's a female or a male voice. For kids who may have visual issues, they can increase the font size. If for other students with special needs, sometimes changing the background color of the text can help processing. For students dealing with things like dyslexia or other needs that really where too much text on a screen can be overwhelming, they can narrow the line focus to 3 lines at a time or a single line at a time. It still will read aloud and it'll track.
Means. Check out the media, pausing it to take notes.
And here, if we need it in different languages, we can convert this to any of about 70 different languages. So what are some common languages you guys deal with? I'm sure Spanish is one, but others? And Christian, if you see any, let me know.
Nothing so far.
We'll
French.
do French. Okay, let's go French. There we go. I'm going to go up here, alphabetical. So here's French. We're going to go France French versus Canadian French. There is a difference. I can go word by word. Let's go statements.
Statements.
Des déclarations.
There's imagery to help students understand it. I can convert the entire document to French, and it will read aloud in French.
Le plus jeune poète d'inauguration de l'histoire. Lisez le titre et réfléchissez.
And I always like to point out that that's not just a powerful tool for kids in your classroom, but also if you have kids like I did that were partially or fully bilingual, but they went home to single language parents, letting them be able to have that translated into their native language now levels the playing field in the home environment as well as the classroom. So it's a great tool to have. For early literacy folks, this can also be important. You can also use this to highlight things like nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs. And so as you're working through grammar components, you can utilize that, those skills as well, and those tools. So yes, those immersive reader components are built into anything done in Studio. So any questions you put on any Studio board will work that way. So you have that capability. All right, we're going to do a little activity together here. I'm going to show you we have what's called Spotlight on Strategies. So we call them SOS. If you type in SOS, these will come up. And there's about 150 or plus Spotlight on Strategies, all ranging in different strategy areas of focus. If you click on this channel here, you can find them organized by compare and contrast, citing evidence, summarizing, point of view, things like that. But I'm going to go into my student learning activity videos. And we're going to use one called an AEIOU. I'm going to play this like if you were students of mine. And we're going to then do this in the chat window, or you can come off mute and do this as well. But we're going to see what's resonating with you guys. We'll show you what this video asks students to do, and then we'll modify it just slightly for what we're going to be doing it for our group here.
AEIOU. One of the first things you ever learned at school was probably AEIOU. Okay, and sometimes why. Here's a fresh spin on AEIOU, and this one will help you summarize big ideas about what you learn, think about how it makes you feel, and note what you find interesting or have questions about. You'll need a piece of paper and something to write with. First, write AEIOU down the side of your paper, like this: A-E-I-O-U. Now, next to each letter, make a note of what it stands for. A is for adjective. An adjective is a word that describes something like colorful or fast. E is for emotion. This is where you'll note how something made you feel. I is for interesting. What did you find interesting? O is for oh. Was there anything that surprised you? U is for That's the sound you make when you have questions or are confused. So jot down something you're unsure of or want to learn more about. Your paper should look something like this: A, adjective. E, emotion. I, interesting. O, oh. U, When you're ready, watch a video, read an article, or listen to some audio. Pause when you need to, and make notes in the right place. You may want to watch, listen, or read again in order to fill in your categories. When you're done, you have a set of notes that describes what you learned, how it made you feel, why it was interesting and surprising, and what you can learn about next.
All right, here's what I'm going to ask you to do. And Christian, I'll have you relay it since I can't see the chat window. But someone give me an adjective that describes something you've seen so far today. An adjective that describes something you've seen so far today.
All right, we've got interesting, interactive, engaging,
Awesome.
Useful. All great adjectives that we love to hear about Discovery Ed.
Great. All right. An emotion you're feeling. The E. An emotion you're feeling.
Inspired, excited, eager, curious.
Awesome. All right. I. Something interesting you saw.
All right. Vooks, the video quizzes. Immersive reader.
Great.
Another way to connect ideas. I like that. Sesame Learning.
Good.
Sesame Learning is a favorite of ours.
Yes. Oh, something that surprised you, hopefully in a good way, but something that surprised you.
More than just videos.
Good.
Teacher and student resources.
Good.
I guess the professional learning channel.
Good. And then you, if you have any questions still residing, I'm going to show a few other things before we wrap up our time. I know we're finishing up about 9:45, and I'll be very respectful of your time. But if you have any questions, start populating those as we go. I always like this activity because it always has my kids in with a question in mind, which is something we always want kids to be, is curious, thinking about things. So one of the other resources I want to show you, if you come up here and you type in actually, you know what? We're just going to leave off ELA out of it. We're going to type in interactives. In the word interactives in your search, we have a variety of interactives: science, math, social studies interactives. So someone was talking about what excited them or they were surprised about was more than just video. We're going to go to our English language arts interactives. Since you guys are early literacy folks, we're going to hit that area. But I wanted to show you that we do have more than just English language arts interactives. And you'll see activities. These are skill builders around what we call, the series is called Arcademics. We'll open one of these up in a moment. There's digital literacy components, but then there's also sorting sounds, blending sounds, reading sets. And I'll open a couple of these up in a moment so you can kind of see. Finding the IGH words, finding the EAR words, sorting different types of sentences, upper elementary grammar activities. So let's just go into one of these for a moment. Let's do the reading set one. I'll do reading set one to keep it real easy for me. All right. These are little, again, skill builders you can work with in your classroom. Quick and simple. These can be shared directly. Just take the link right here to send it into your assignment for class, your activities. But then students will get the link. They click start. This can be read aloud.
At. Pat.
So which one is Pat? I'm going to purposely get this wrong, folks. Yeah, I do know which word it is.
S. At. Sat.
And so we've got different words we can work through on that. So little reading set words you can go through. And then you also have, these are a lot of fun for students to work with. We're going to do, let's see. And these are things that you can actually do as competitions in your classroom. So what can happen, I can't do it right now because we're not in the same building, but if I'm in the same building, I can actually click play. This is going to give me directions on how to move, which is not going to go well for me, but that's okay. And then we're going to start easy for me. I can do normal or hard. We're going to go game speed slow for me. And these are things you actually I can go work with. Oh, you, which one can work with? Oh, you. Get one wrong. Get one wrong here. That's gonna work. There we go. So just again, quick little easy things they can play with. There's a variety of types of these academic activities. the Furious Frogs, the Turtle Dash, I don't know what the other one was. Let's see, correct matching antonyms. And then again, these are broken out. You can actually do a search for Arcademics if you want the full list of them. And again, these are just meant to be skill builder activities, just practice things that students can work through. And these are broken down by math, English language arts, and geography, and then spelling, synonyms and antonyms, parts of speech and sentence agreement, typing and keyboarding skills. So if I want something simple with spelling, or if I want something with spelling, these is a fun one that we've done before. But again, you have those all built out. And this is something where kids can actually compete together. I don't see the one I usually use. Where is that one? But oh, there it is, Bumper Boat Bash. So in these, when I say you can compete together, you'll get a sense of what I mean. It assigns you a player number and name because we don't want to share student information out there into the system. But I can create a game, leave a password for my private game. I can type in whatever password I want. And now other folks can look in my class or in my school for that game taking place. They can join and they'll replace the computer with other players. And so then my kids can compete together in an activity like this if they want to. So it'll extension activity for when you have those 2 moments. Not going to go well. As you do better, you're obviously going to move further forward down the track. As you miss things, fall further back. And you can kind of see, again, it's just a quick, easy little strategy activity you can use in your classroom just to have the kids have a little bit of fun time, practice some of the things you're working on in the class. Also something that you could assign for kids to do it for a homework activity. So again, those are just built into our STEM system. ELA Interactives and the Arcademics are 2 that you may want to check out as we kind of go through. All right. Last little piece is I'm going to do a keyword search for phonics. So anytime you're looking for something, there is a ton of these investigations. This is the teacher material, but then you have Ash's Phonics, Polly's Phonics, which are resources to help with phonemic awareness and having kids work through those phonemic sounds as you're going through. Again, short little videos that you can utilize in your classroom. So what, like the OI sounds or the IGH sound. So again, really great for kids to kind of have those, whether they're used in classroom time or for practice activities at home, or for strategies for teachers to send home or to share with parents so that they can practice those activities in the home environment as well. Again, all those videos, if you just see a keyword search for phonics and phonemic awareness, you'll find tons of those already built out. Scully's Phonics is another series that we have. So again, a whole collection of resources around phonics. The other thing you can do whenever you do a keyword search for something like phonics, you can search for interactives. You can search for activities. So I'm going to turn off interactives and just look for activities. And so here's a student activity on decoding phonics. And again, this, because it's in studio, can be read aloud. There are teacher notes that go along with these over on the right-hand side. There's any activity handouts will be right there. So here's the PDF that you could hand out or have kids work on. I'll open that up just so you can kind of see what that looks like. Here, we'll pull it up here. So word chains. How can you change dog into cat? How do you start building a word change? Start with a 3-letter word, replace the G with a T, replace the D with a P. And so work through those processes. So again, those are real quick, easy things you could do and assignments teachers could pull up and do in their classroom without having to build it from scratch. One of the things we hear from teachers all the time is, the most valuable resource anyone can give them is time. And anytime we can build something that saves them the time, now obviously they can modify this if they would like to, but the basic format is already built out for them. So you have that at your fingertips. You have the ability, Studio is right here, to build your own lessons anytime you would like. And so that is something just to be mindful of. And the last thing I wanted to show you, yeah, we'll do it real quick. I'm going to just quit this impersonation for a moment. And I wanted to show you that quiz piece where I talked about you can annotate over imagery. Because I don't have a good example on that account. I'll go to my personal account where I have one. So in the quiz, I talked about the fact that kids can actually annotate. And we'll go here to my results. And let's see, where is it? Bear with me for a minute while I find the right one. That's a math plotting quiz. I didn't really want that one. That's not what I need. I needed the, let's go back up one. I think that, is that it? Did I have it? Yep, okay. So here's the question I ask. Label how water and nutrients flow through a plant. And so now I can actually see the response of this student. And this, all I gave him was the picture, and then the student can label on top of the picture. So that's just another tool you have in the quiz builder where you can put imagery in and have kids annotate. So that's another feature, again, a resource you can utilize within that. So I wanted to make sure I highlighted that before we finished up. Okay, so that's a good, hopefully get you started with Discover Education. What I'd love to do, I'm going to stop my share for a minute, and we're going to do one last little activity. And that is, Samantha put the attendance ticket, so please be sure to complete that for us. What I like to do is do a flip-flop. So the way a flip-flop activity works is this. We start off with a phrase, starting with a sentence, I used to think this, and now I think this. So with Discover Education, I used to think blank, whatever you want to put, and then I now think this. So go ahead and do your flip-flop activity in the chat window, or come off mute if you'd prefer. So I used to think this, now I think this.
Discovery Ed was only videos, and now I think there's so much more to explore and easy to implement in the classroom.
Great. Fun, engaging, and interactive. Thank you. This is good. For the little ones, yes. Can't ever forget about our littles. Great. Awesome. Do you think it's primarily for science and social studies? Yep, it's definitely an ELA resource. You can only do written quizzes. Now you can do audio quizzes. Yes. Wonderful. Thank you all. This is great. So I know we're coming up on time. Do not forget to complete the attendance certificate that Samantha posted in there, please. We greatly appreciate your time as a parent of school-age kids. You don't hear it enough. Thank you guys for what you're doing day in and day out. It is greatly appreciated. You hear from folks who are not happy. You don't hear from the folks who are happy. So vast majority of people are very happy with what's going on in schools. You just don't hear from them. So thank you guys for what you do day in and day out. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Hey, Brad, quick question.
Yes.
In those interactives, is there a way for teachers to see the students' results?
It does not collect it because we don't collect any data. It doesn't tie to a student. Gotcha. It's just meant for practice. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Will be, we have 3 more sessions today, so hopefully we may be able to join you for those as well.
Yep. And it's a new room for the other session, Samantha, right?
Yes, new room.
Okay.
Do you have the?
Yes, I have all the links. Yeah, I just want to make sure.
Sure. Thanks, guys.
Thank you all. Take care.